I mean, I don't mind people not hearing me. This is a pretty long run, and a lot of confusing stuff is happening, so might want to explain what's going on. Alright, I got told people can hear me now, so what's up, everyone? Just gonna start the countdown. Um, Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, what's up, everyone? This is Super Metroid RBMBO. My name is Ponk. I'm gonna be running this today, so thanks everyone for stopping by. And yeah, first things first, since I already got that asked before the run even started, what is RBMBO? RBMBO, or Rambo, or True Reverse Boss Order, all these beautiful names. Basically, RBMBO stands for Reverse Boss Mini Boss Order, which means we're gonna be basically doing RBO, which in Super Metroid is killing the 4 main bosses, Kraid, Fantune, Dragon, and Ridley in reverse intended order. But we're gonna spike it up a little bit by mixing every single boss of the game. So we're gonna start with Mother Brain, the very final boss of the game. Then do Ridley, the mini boss GT after that. We're gonna do Dragon, Batoon, Fantune, Crocomire, Kraid, and Spore Spawn last, and then we're gonna finish the game. In case you don't know anything about Super Metroid, beating the last boss first is, well, it's nothing you're intended to do. So, this run is heavily glitched, and also, besides that, it's like basically like it has all the fun parts of normal RBO, but it's like, it has some extra stuff, and this category is really hard. And I'm saying like really hard. About a year ago, this run had about 2 or 3 recorded completions. We're now at the point where I think we have 5 times on the leaderboard. The last of those being added just yesterday with a 30-hour time. Shoutouts to my man Beef Robber here in chat. So yeah, it's a hard category. There are very few people who run it. I personally think it's a great category. I took the world record back at a 230 about a year ago, and got it down to a 147 the other day. It's a really fun category. A lot can go wrong, a lot will go wrong. There's a reason why I have an estimate of 220 when my PB is sub 150. But yeah, we'll get to the fun parts later. 32 hours, alright. Well, there you go. If you have any questions in chat, by the way, I will try to answer them. I have the Midwest Speedfest chat up here. But yeah, opening is still pretty standard, thank you, John. Just standard NMG stuff, getting Morph Ball early. You see me falling there pretty quickly. I utilize a technique called Moonfall, which is basically just using the moonwalk to do a backward spin jump, which doesn't have a speed cap. So the longer you fall, the longer you gain momentum, which is used at a few parts of the run. A lot of people don't like to play with Moonfall with Moonwalk because it's only saves a few seconds, but makes movement kind of wonky for some people. Even if Moonfall was not a thing, I'd still play with Moonwalk in this category though, because there are some tricks that require me to align with stuff relatively quickly, relatively precise, and Moonwalk is just perfect for that. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, this opening of Super Metroid, this is probably the most boring thing ever. If you've ever watched any Super Metroid run, regardless of category, you'll know this opening. Just like Morph Ball, missiles, bombs. This isn't randomizer, so we don't get to do any fancy early damage boosts to ceiling items. Not really a lot I can tell about here. I can tell you how difficult the upcoming room is to climb here. But, who am I kidding? You've all seen this a million times as well. Also, just as a warning, my controller is pretty loud. I originally had a co-commentator who, to my misfortune, isn't awake yet, so I was hoping he could talk over my controller noise, but you'll have to bear with me for this. Shoutouts to Beeps, by the way. Really local runner has also been doing a run of this category. Everyone who does a run of this category is a hero in my book because this is just really hard. So let's talk about a little bit more about the RBMBO rule set. So again, we have to beat every boss in the reverse intended order, including all the mini bosses and the final boss for the brain. So you might be wondering why I'm doing Bomb Chorizo here. So there are no rule restrictions in this category. Like unlike any percent MG or like normal RBO, where you can't use major glitches, here we can use like basically everything. However, there are still 3 things that are banned. That is GT code to not make the category too easy. Artificial suits. You don't really have to worry about what that means. It basically makes the category more easy as well. And another thing is space-time beam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And space-time beam basically is a glitched beam that lets you reset event flags. So it would be like a really convenient way to respawn bosses. But the core idea of this category is that we really only want to fight every single boss once, and we don't want to respawn any bosses. And by banning Space-Time Beam, we don't have any way of beating Mother Brain first, and beating Bomb Chorizo after. So you just kind of take Bomb Chorizo as a given, and ignore him for the boss order, because there is no way of doing that. Again, we could do Bomb Chorizo last if we would allow Space-Time Beam, but that would just make the category absolutely dumb to run and absolutely no fun. So we go with the fun version and just ignore Bomb Chorizo because Bomb Chorizo sucks anyway. Alright, we're coming up on the first sequence break of the game. Gonna be collecting these early super missiles that you're not supposed to collect unless you have Speed Booster. But with a nice technique called mockballing, we can get them early. There's a cool damage boost I can do here. Not even doing BT skip. Yeah, that's a thing. We could even skip BT, like not doing him first if we would play on PAL or do a wrong warp early. But we could still not beat him last. That's the thing. Like, it's really not the problem with not doing him early. It's more the problem of not doing him at the very end of the game. All right, let's see if I can get this reverse mockball. All right, I missed it. That's okay. Well, it's not okay, but it's like that mockball is hard. So another thing you'll notice is that I try to avoid as much damage as possible, like you saw me earlier shooting some of these pirates with missiles rather than damage boosting through. The reason for that is normal energy tanks just refill your entire health. Reserve tanks, however, come empty, and there's no quick way to refill them other than just refilling them manually. And the way refilling health works is that it refills up your energy tanks first and then your reserves. So up till the point where I want to refill my reserve, which is relatively early in the game, I want to maintain as much health as possible, just to make the farming section as like small as possible. But so far this is still like normal RBO stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff I would do in RBO with the double North Revisit route. However, we come up to the purest deviation of standard RBO, and that's already quite a confusing one if you've never seen a RBMBO run. But I'll go over that. It's a pretty fun thing. Like, it's one of those things that you see as someone who has no clue about the run, and you look at it and you're like, oh wow, why did he just do that? He just wasted time for no reason. But basically, I'm gonna do something that will not pay off like till 30-40 minutes later in the run. And it's a very minor thing, but there have been runs lost to that, so it's important that I do that. So yeah, this is the point where I want to fill up my reserve. I have currently 79 energy, which is pretty optimal. So I just want to get these extra 100 energy for my reserve tank, and then I'll have that set and don't have to worry about it anymore. It is wasting time. Well, for someone who does a task of this and has perfect drop manipulation and gets every shake first try, it might not be wasted time. But for humans, it's very not wasted time. So getting our early power bombs again, just I guess you could call this a sequence break. It's really just utilizing wall jumping, which is in the technique of the game, but you're not supposed to have power bombs this early. I mean, DF4 new, of course, but maybe not. Maybe not Nintendo. Alright. Just getting better power bombs here. We're kind of stacked on power bombs in this category. We're gonna get to a total of 30. We don't technically need that many, but it's always nice to have some extra. For reference, in standard RBO I would only get 20. But there are some differences here. Alright, so this is the kind of confusing part, I guess. So we're going up this elevator, and my first split, even though you cannot see it, is called Open Yellow Door. And, oh well, here's one yellow door. And look, here's another yellow door we can open. So we're gonna do that. And there you go. Going back down again. So we just took that long elevator ride, literally just for the purpose of opening that yellow door there. And that is not gonna pay off until like another 40 minutes, so might be a little bit confused why we did that, but we'll get back to it. It was really important that we took that detour. Let's say that much. Oh my god, alright. This room is called Hellway, for obvious reasons. Or mini moonfall you can do here, slight frame saver really. Getting the superior scree damage boost. If you ever see someone going for the particle deboost, you know he does it wrong, because that's not superior. And we're getting Spazer in this category, another deviation from RBO, at least in the route that I do. You would not collect Spazer. But here Spazer is pretty important, because again, we do Mother Brain first, and we don't get Plasma Beam before Mother Brain, so that Spazer is gonna pay off pretty big. No, Particle Boost is not better. You are absolutely wrong. Alright, time for some chocolate milk. Oh. I swear, that's better than coffee. Alright. So now we're coming up on the actual, like, first RBO action, like, the thing you paid for, the thing you really want to see. Coming up on some hell runs. How can I be wrong if I'm sitting here and playing the game? Have you ever thought about that? Why do I have balloon here? I don't know. Alright, so high jump boot's pretty important. Notice again we have full reserves and full energy at this point, which is pretty important. Because we're gonna come up on our first hell run, which basically means we're gonna traverse heated rooms without Variasuit. We're not gonna get Variasuit. Variasuit is guarded by the second last boss of this category, so at that point it's not worth it anymore. We could get an artificial Variasuit, but as I told you, artificial suits are banned because it makes the category too easy. So we're gonna take a safety save because I could actually die here. I hope I won't, but you never know. So the way heat rooms work is that if you don't have gravity or barrier equipped, you take 1 damage per 4 frames. So this game runs at 60 FPS, so if you look at my health bar right now, you can see my health is depleting pretty quickly. And I want to have pretty much optimal movement through these rooms. That's already not optimal. This is a lot better. Also, this last heated room, for now, has... These first enemies have movement RNG. I got good RNG here. If those owl thingies jump low, I have to wait for them getting hit for extra energy. It's also important that I refill my reserves manually here, because if they fill up automatically... Alright, I'm dead. That can happen. If they refill automatically, I basically lose health as they refill. As the same rate I would lose health normally, so I'm just wasting health. Why don't I get Artificial Grapple Beam? Because I don't know any setup for Artificial Grapple Beam. I'm not even sure if there's a known setup for Artificial Grapple Beam. There probably is one with the new Gmode save station thing. It's alright. This is the best spot I could possibly die in. There are spots in this run where dying is a lot more expensive. And a lot worse. This is going pretty smoothly, like 133 in this So there we go, that's bad RNG. Had to wait out there. And landing at the same health we had last time here, even though our movement was a lot better, so that's the fun part about doing these hell runs, enemy movement RNG. But we made it through with 78 health. That is basically as good as it gets with that kind of RNG. And we're going to be heading to Speed Booster now. Also, just for reference, my PB, which is the current world record, has 2 deaths. Again, this category is not ran a lot and pretty hard. So yeah, here we're just kind of farming. Need basically full energy to make it to Speed Booster and back. It's used in 0%. Oh, alright. That's cool. I didn't know that. Also, this is also pretty fun. This is about one of the only parts of any run where arm pumping can actually save you more than a few frames. Because just by arm pumping here, we're saving ourselves, like, tiny bits of health. We're talking about, like, 5 to 10 health just with good arm pumping. And if we do it well, we can reach this farm again without our reserves kicking in. And we got that. And reserves kicking in here loses us multiple seconds, so this is the only part where arm pumping actually saves a ton of time. Which is why we want to go for optimal arm pumping there. But this is looking pretty fine. So we got Speed Booster now. Just gonna get Wave Beam, the last major here in this section of the game that we need, and then we're already going back out of Norfair, really just for these few items here. All of them being very important. Speed Booster we require for a major sequence break, and Wave Beam we require for more damage output on Mother Brain. So we cannot really skip any of this. That's really good health. So one thing I'm going to do here that I usually wouldn't do in runs is refill my reserves manually. You can just let them auto-kick in during the hell run, but that adds kind of a pause in the middle of like pretty intense movement, and I don't want that pause because that usually leads to some mistakes, and that can kill me here. This is looking alright. I had to go for a backup deboost there because I missed the jump. But we kill this guy, we're out. And that's basically, this is honestly one of the hardest hell runs in the entire game, so I'm glad that went smoothly. Also, we're 1 health short of meme health, that is quite unfortunate. Oh well. So, one more quick farming session because we need to do one more hell run at Ice Beam. And then we have basically full beam power for now, until we get Plasma Beam. And then we're good to fight Mother Brain with that. Obviously, we still need a lot more E-tanks, because there's a scripted attack in the Mother Brain fight that deals 600 damage, and we don't even have 6 tanks yet. So that's something we need to work on. But it's always beneficial to do this hell run as early as possible, just to reduce backtracking. These hell runs really aren't easy, like it's definitely not a beginner-friendly thing, but it's something you should aim for as soon as you go for like somewhat optimized runs. So yeah, this is the last hell run we're gonna do. This is a pretty easy one. Oh, actually, remember to split that ice beam. Cool. So now we actually have everything from up and off that we need. There is really nothing more that interests us here. There's one more reserve tank we could do, that is kind of for safety, but we really don't need that. Actually, thinking about it, I'll add another safety save. We're gonna do another sequence break, a pretty big one actually. And basically what's gonna happen, we're gonna dump Samus in a giant room full of spikes that all deal 60 damage and can kill us basically within a few seconds, if we mess up. I shouldn't mess up here, I haven't messed this up in ages, but you never know. This is a marathon, so we're taking all the safeties. So yeah, we're getting, we're gonna get probably the most broken item in the game now, X-ray scope. And X-ray scope is gonna allow us all the fun stuff in this category. X-ray is what will allow us to do Mother Brain first. X-ray is what will eventually allow us to continue the game after beating Mother Brain, which is obviously even trickier than beating Mother Brain first. And yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Oh, sweet. Perfect health. Also shoutouts to my boy Sloters. This is his refill, the Sloters refill. I actually named that refill after him. Made the name kind of popular. Sloters is well, he's also an RBO runner, and usually you never want to take this refill in RBO, because it's just a sign of bad health management, but he ended up always taking it. Still has a really fantastic time in RBO, so shoutouts to him. So I'm de-equipping all my stuff here just to make this trick easier. This is early X-ray, it's just a long chain of deboosts off of enemies. Again, all the spikes here deal 60 damage. Compared to the waivers and the fire fleece here, that's a ton. So we're trying to deboost simply off of the enemies here, which also gives us longer periods of invulnerability frames, and then get over these large spike pits without grapple beam. Excuse me. Or a space jump. That's a pretty important sequence break to do. Oh wait, yeah, right, that gate. So since we got over so nicely, we can just do the YOLO strat back, which means just not waiting for any more waivers and just jumping over. We'll eventually meet some waivers in the center here. There you go, and damage boost off of them. And then we're good. That trick is probably one of my favorite sequence breaks. It's just really sexy if you pull it off. So yeah, now we can re-equip our stuff there. The reason why we de-equip our stuff there is really just to make the jumps align more nicely. And we de-equip the beams just so that we don't, like, freeze the enemies in our way that we want to damage boost off of, or one-shot them. Pretty important. Yo, in a rush, dude, my man. What's up? So now we're coming to the farming part of the run. Like really, we need a ton of E-tanks for Tyrion, just to survive the Mother Brain fight. That has nothing to do with like skill at Mother Brain, that's just literally just like, we need a certain amount of energy because damage is scripted. Also need some ammo. Yeah, like just getting some supers and some missiles on the way, as well as some power bombs. Just to, not only for Tyrion, just to have a nicer time, but also to get enough ammo to do multiple crystal flashes later in the run. If you don't know what a crystal flash is, it's basically exchanging 10 of each ammo type, or well, 10, 10, 11, for full health refill. And since we're doing a lot more of these heat runs, without necessarily good farming spots close by, we have to do some of the crystal flashes later. Alright, we're coming up on probably one of the coolest deboosts in the game. At least in my opinion. So usually you're supposed to freeze this goo here to get across, but we can just damage boost with a Shine Spark. And that damage boost is not easy. Like it's super easy to activate the Shine Spark there. And just spark there and get caught and land in the acid, and it's just not fun. It's a cool D-boost though. I like it a lot. Well, thank you. Alright, we're gonna collect another E-Tank and a Power Bomb here at the top of Criteria. There's a really cool trick coming up that I kinda need to reserve some health for. So a quick introduction to Out of Bounds. We're gonna see more of it coming up in the run. Basically every room has infinite copies of itself, both up and to the sides, and we use that a lot for wrong warps, but another thing we can use it for is by abusing the fact that door shells, or at least like the PLMs, also exist out of bounds for the room copies, and they share the same ID. So what I'm gonna do here, as you can see, you heard a door opening. What I did there was I shot the out of bounds copy off the door on the left side of this room. So now if I spark to the left here, the door is already open because we shot the out of bounds copy off the door that shared the same ID. So we're able to spark all the way through the gauntlet here in one spark. That is called the Gauntlet Spark. It's just a really nice time saver and like really easy to do. Again, that's not the most complex thing we're gonna interact with out of bounds in this run, but it's a nice introduction just to get you nice and settled for the broken stuff that's coming up later. But so far, this is all still NMG. Nothing nothing broken yet. We're getting to that part later. Alright. Gonna have another instance of the Moonfall too, actually, if I don't mess it up. You always want to utilize Moonfalling in these long vertical shafts. In some it's kind of tricky to pull off, especially in this one, because there are like enemies, platforms at different levels, so... Alright, I got it. So those are really just like, those don't even save like a second, it's just like really minor time saves, but they look cool. They are worth to go for, so why not? So again, like yeah, that's honestly the part I really like about RBO kind of categories. It's like you have the cool movement of like 100% style, where you like just go around, collect all the items, but you don't have to go through the annoying part of collecting like all the garbage items. Like you're only here for the good stuff. You only get the supers, you get the E-tanks, you get the power bombs, but don't have to worry about like collecting 230 missiles. In case you couldn't tell, I'm not a big fan of completion categories. I like to just like get the good stuff and then get out, which RBO really satisfies. Alright. Let's see if I can get the spark, looking good. Oh no, I forgot to lay the power bomb, cool. Go get Spring Ball. Yo, what's up, Insane Firebat? You won't be missed, indeed. Indeed it won't. I guess it doesn't even matter that I'd missed that power bomb, it's not too important in this category. Excuse me, thank you. Also, I don't need to go for Mission Impossible here because it's slower in this category. So like usually in Hundo you would go for a trick called Mission Impossible that I kind of went for because I forgot that it's slower. You would just basically jump out of the rooftop there again. But since in 100% you, or like in normal RBO, you clear this entire section, the big pink area, from top to bottom and then leave through the bottom. But we don't leave through the bottom, we leave through the top again where we came from. So it's not worth doing this like complete top to bottom movement. We're more doing like a circle. We're doing left side clean up, go all the way down, then do right side clean up, and then back to the top, which is slightly faster. And then we're actually approaching the the best part of this run. Completely unironic. Yeah, you'll see it. We're coming up on the part where I really wanted a co-commentator. But we'll have something nice to talk about. In case you want to talk, in case you have like any topic that moves you or you want to talk about, then we have a nice little room to talk about that in upcoming in a few minutes. But I'll get to that. Alright, another small sequence break, getting Spore Spawn Super without fighting Spore Spawn. The only boss that is not seen in 100% because he's completely obsolete. We do see him in this category though, just not to collect his supers. We're getting his supers first and then we fight him. Keyboard is better than controller. Oh boy, yeah, that's something we can discuss about. That's that is certainly a topic that has enough material for 11 minutes. Well, let's hope it's only 11 minutes. Alright. So, literally the last item we're gonna collect before we beat Mother Brain. This final E-Tank, then we're gonna be sitting at 7 E-Tanks, which is one more than we need, and 1 reserve tank, just as a nice extra. And yeah, then we can go to our very first boss, Mother Brain. I hope you're all excited. Alright, yeah, so remember how I told you that this category is broken? We're gonna get to the broken part now. So, for those of you who know the game, there is a statue guarding the entrance to the final area of the game, Turian. And that statue only breaks if you kill the 4 main bosses. Dragon, Ridley, Crate, and Fantoon. But we cannot beat those yet. Because we have to beat Mother Brain first, so we have to somehow surpass that G4 statue. And the way we're gonna do that is fun. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out of bounds inside the room of the G4 statue, X-ray climb all the way up, and then activate an out of bounds transition off a room copy to get into Tyrion. And, well, first thing I need to do for this is I need to get stuck inside that door. There we go. So, what I did there is I activated a spark in the same on the same frame. I activated the transition, which I can get stuck without that, but I won't be as deep stuck as I am right now. And the reason I need to be deep stuck like this is because there is a slope here right to the top that would otherwise push me out, but now I can just climb in. So yeah, I told you I need to climb all the way up, and what does all the way up mean in this case? All the way up means 11 screens of X-ray climbing. And this takes approximately 10 minutes, so you're just gonna see me mash my D-pad here for the next 10 minutes. If chat is nice, chat will count for me. But yeah, this is probably the single worst part of the run, or at least the most tedious one. So that is one. In case you don't know what X-ray climbing is, let me go over that really quickly. So basically, while you are crouched and you X-ray and you turn around and interrupt the X-ray during the turnaround animation, it forces Samus to stand up, and if Samus is standing while stuck inside a solid object and crouches, she doesn't just crouch on the spot, but she actually gains height. So the crouch gains you height, and the X-ray cancel allows you to re-crouch. So that's how we're gaining height. And this is why I really wanted a co-commentator for this, because I don't really know what to tell you about this for 10 minutes. I hope chat has some good topics to talk about. This is 2. Again, we need 11 of these screen transitions, and then we're through. Optimally, this takes around 10 seconds. Thanks for counting, chat. So yeah, I kind of need to concentrate on the rhythm actually, because the turnaround animation of is pretty short, so the timing to release X-ray is pretty precise. Which doesn't make this a lot easier. Like this may look like super repetitive, but it's actually not easy. Like someone who has no experience with X-ray climbing might take like 30 minutes for this. Like this is actually not free, you actually have to kind of focus on it. Which again doesn't make this a lot more fun. I guess I can talk a little bit about the history of this category. This category was originally invented by a guy named Fusta, or Andrew with double W. Yeah, he basically invented this like years ago, and eventually got the time down to a 2 hour and 30 minutes. I took the world record over from him about a year ago, I want to say, and got it down to a 147 since then. I've actually added a lot of, well, I want to say improvements to the route. The route collects a lot more stuff, like we're completely skipping early Murdia, which you would usually already have gotten. Also, low and off-air routing is a little bit more efficient. We're even working on adding new ROM warps at the moment, which is kind of still in the beta phase. We're kind of working to get them work, but oh well, we're trying. And besides that, this category is really cool. Like, this category is not beginner-friendly, but it has a lot of ways to customize it. Like, one of the donation incentives I put up, which I don't think will be met, I just put it up because I had nothing else to put there, was early extra. It was early grapple beam. And early grapple beam is, like, you basically do another out of bounds to skip Crocomire and get the grapple beam from him without ever fighting him. And that adds a lot of safety to the run. Like, there are definitely a lot of people who do this extra complicated out of bounds just to get grapple beam as an extra safety. But the world record doesn't get that. Unfortunately, the reason why it's unfortunate is because it's a really cool out of bounds. Like, it's probably my favorite out of bounds to do. And grapple beam just adds a ton of safety. Like, it makes Flow and Warfare and Murdia so much easier. But it's just so slow to get. And like technically you don't lose any time to not having it. So it's really just like the time loss of getting it, which is quite a lot. Oh, we're already at 6, dang. Look at this, guys. Look how fast the time passes when you're having some fun. That's what I'm talking about. Like, we're just having some fun here, doing some X-ray climbing, just like good friends hanging out at a Sunday morning, having some fun with Super Metroid. That's what I'm talking about. That's the spirit of this category. And as sad as it is, even though this is the most tedious part, This is not the hardest part of the run, or the most frustrating one for that. There's one trick that makes or breaks runs, basically, and that is coming up after Turian. This is some good climbing though, I'm pretty satisfied with this so far. This should be 8. Again, we need 11 screens, so we're approaching the end here. A lot of people in my chat like to call this like the disco rave cave. Sometimes I like to have music up for this and then just like see if the blinking of the X-ray scope aligns with the music beat. That's usually kind of fun. Also, this is why I mentioned my controller being kind of noisy earlier, because like, yeah, like you cannot avoid this. There is a different wrong warp into, well, not a wrong warp, like what you could in theory do is basically delete the collision of the blocks to the bottom of the room there and then just enter the elevator normally. But to delete the floor collision there, you need Space-Time Beam. And even though we wouldn't use Space-Time Beam to reset the bosses in any way, we still ban it, just because we ban Space-Time Beam as a whole. So instead of doing a 20-second trick, we do a 10-minute trick here to get into Turian. But I want to say it still makes the category more fun than allowing Space-Time Beam for the category's defense. And that comes from the person who has probably spent more time in this X-ray climb than anyone else. Quality gaming experience right there, right? Like, no matter how much you paid for this game, this makes it absolutely worth it. Speaking about metronomes, I am gonna do multiple out-of-bounds bomb jumps in this run. The thing is, you cannot see the bombs. And a lot of people like to use a metronome for that. I'm not really a fan of that. It's not banned, like we don't ban metronomes, but I still don't like them. I like to more listen to the sounds. It's more consistent for me. Alright, this should be 11. Honestly, this is not a bad climb. This is not the best I've ever done, but this is actually pretty close to it. We're about a 10-minute, actually less, we're like less than 10 minutes in the X-ray climb. This should be like barely sub 10, so this is really good. Taz obviously needs way less for this, but for humans, sub 10 is pretty nice. Alright, there we go, we're out now. I can see Samus. We're all the way, like basically under the next room copy right now. So now I need to align myself with this tile. This is actually, I'm not quite satisfied with this position. So this is really precise. I need to be exactly aligned with this tile here. Alright, this is looking good. I'm not sure if chat can, like Beefy can, I think you could confirm this, but I think this is alright. Actually, I'm still not satisfied with this, so I need to be really precisely aligned here with something. No, this is... this... no. Okay. Alright, this is... yeah, this is good. I like this. Oh? No. This is too far. Yeah, okay, this is perfect. So I need to be on one specific tile here because I'm basically... as I'm bomb jumping up here, I'm bomb jumping between two transition blocks. And the transition block we need to hit is in the center of those. So I need to make sure that I don't hit any of the other transition blocks and land exactly in the middle. So I'd rather take like a little bit of extra setup time there, just to be sure. The mothball hitbox isn't quite one tile, so there is some leeway here, but again, better safe than sorry, especially after doing a 10-minute X-ray climb. So we have to just bomb jump 3 screens here. And this is looking pretty good. We are past the bad tile, so we should just bomb jump straight into good transition. Alright, there we go. So now, we're a morph ball inside the elevator transition. And yeah, we're in Turian now, so good job on that. And you might notice that the game doesn't really like us doing this one warp here. It's doing some funky stuff. We are gonna fix that soon. Like the game's graphic are just really confused, basically by some index misaligning. So it really messes up these PLMs here. Again, we can fix that by just resetting the game, which we are gonna do since I will have to do a safety save before the hardest trick of the game. So while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna reset the game. Alright. Yo. So that's the Metroid rooms. Now we're coming up on the big Metroid room. I got a really bad super drops here, holy moly. Not gonna have any for Mother Brain. So coming up on a trick called Baby Skip, it's... I don't even know if I'm gonna hit it. I'm not sure if I've ever hit it in this category. It would save me around like 10 to 20 seconds. Also, it's really not a lot easier since I don't know which blocks I already cleared. But, oh no. Alright, so this is fine. We got grabbed here, which means we get the horrible slow animation. Yeah, this is why you don't go for Baby Skip in this category, because you cannot see which of these tiles you already cleared. That's kind of a problem. Yeah, you see the game is really messed up right now. It does not like what we did to it in any way. Plus we are now horribly slow, so at least I have a reason to reset here. Yeah. Alright. Let's go. Samus, come on, this is a speedrun. You gotta go fast. Alright, let's go. So what happened there, I got grabbed by the baby Metroid as I was in the door transition. I would have actually gotten the Baby Skip if there wasn't some invisible tile that I didn't clear that I couldn't see. You saw me bonking something there at the ceiling. So that basically causes me to be stuck in this slow animation, and the only way to get rid of it is by saving. Oh, that wasn't good. Oh well, I'm fine. Why is the estimate at 220? That's a good question. Well, my friend, this is just the first boss we're doing. That's why the estimate is at 220. Yeah, this is the very first boss. We're gonna continue after this. Also, fun fact, I'm about 2 minutes ahead of my goals for some reason. Alright. So, in an optimal world, we're never gonna see this room again. In reality, we might. Yeah, so we're coming up on Mother Brain. Mother Brain itself isn't terrible. Like, you're basically doing Neuro at any % fight here with no suit, which is okay if you're comfortable doing like more low % approach of a fight, which means just prioritizing not getting hit. But the thing that really makes this category is like if you know this game, you know that like once Mother Brain is dead, the escape is gonna trigger. We're supposed to escape and get into our ship. But we obviously need to still beat every single other boss of the game after beating Mother Brain. So the real question is, how do we get back into the game? And for that, after beating Mother Brain here, we need to perform a trick called Escape Escape, and I'm going to get to that after the fight. But basically that is the most annoying, not necessarily the hardest, but the most annoying trick of the game. Like, that's really what just makes or break this run, if you get it first try or not. You're basically trying to do a frame-perfect trick at a very specific spot as the escape timer is running down. So you have limited time for a very, very precise trick. You get about like 6 attempts for this trick, and then it's just clock over, reset, and you have to do all of this over again, which leaves you multiple minutes. So this is really this one trick here is really the game breaker of the category. All my previous PPs have it first try, which makes it really not fun to run against. But that's just something that comes with this category. So yeah, this is 60 charge shots. I had some ammo, so it's going to be slightly less. You want to land inside that middle of the explosion, because that's actually dealing 0 damage. So even though I got hit there, I got no damage out of it. And I really want to avoid the catch-up hit here. Alright, so that was a good Mother Brain. I'm just gonna refill my health here, because that's gonna set up for a stand-up glitch, which doesn't save a lot of time. Probably not even the time we spend refilling our reserves there, our health here, but it's just, I mean, why not? Let's just go for it. Yeah, this is basically RBO, but with Mother Brain and all mini-bosses. That's a nice way to describe it. So this is the Baby Metroid cutscene, and by doing some health shenanigans and avoiding some crouch locks, we can stand up here and basically damage the third phase of Mother Brain before we're supposed to, which for this beam combo doesn't save as much time as with Plasma, but I think still it saves around like 8 seconds if you do it optimally, so it's just a time save you should go for, honestly. Again, there are 2 crouch locks in this cutscene that you have to avoid. You can get out of the crouch again with X-ray, but like just again avoid the crouch lock, because otherwise the baby might get caught inside Mother Brain and then you soft lock and then you have to reset, and that's not fun. Thankfully you can really easily avoid the crouch lock by just jumping on the frame the crouch lock happens. So that's pretty easy, if you know the timing. So it's really important that there's no shot on screen as we transition to the Hyper Beam, because that's going to make the game lag a lot. There's a really easy way to get out of it, but just unnecessary time loss. Alright, and I really need to focus on the run now because we're coming up on the hardest trick of the game. What's gonna happen is we have to get stuck inside another door transition with a Shine Spark, which again is a frame perfect trick. The hard part about this is, again, we have a timer, so we have limited attempts. The entire camera is shaking, which makes the alignment not really easy. And there's steam, which makes charging a spark insanely dumb. And all these things combined makes escape, and if I get this first try I'm gonna be really happy. But, be prepared for fighting Mother Brain again. It wouldn't be the first time. This takes me like 2 or 3 cycles, but that's okay. That's why the estimate is so high. Again, in an ideal world, I'm gonna get this first try, but we'll see. This is the one trick that I practice before every single run, including this one, just because I have to rely on nailing this. This is the Behemoth Spark. Nice little time save. Again, we want to save as much time in this escape as possible, just to maximize the amount of attempts we have for the escape. Also, don't worry about save and kill the animals. We're gonna be here later again, at the very end of the game, and then we can worry about saving or killing them. But right now it would literally just be a time waste to go down there, even if you want to save them. You really need all the time in the world for this? Alright, time to focus. Alright. So, you need to do a stationary spin jump there at this really precise positioning, and then do this frame perfect trick. And the steam here can interrupt your your spark, so you have to be kind of precise about that too. Alright, we got a run, guys. This is first try. Well, it's not first try, but it's like first cycle, which I count as first try. So we need to do a mini X-ray climb here. Again, if you look at the timer, it doesn't stop while X-raying, so we're still on a little bit of a hurry here. If you want to look at the mini-map, that's how I know I'm out of bounds. If we swap to one tile higher, there you go. So now I'm out. I'm gonna do another wrong warp, and if this wrong warp works, I'm done. And we're out. That's the wrong warp we need. So the reason why we need to do this wrong warp here is all doors that lead outside of the escape area are closed off. And this is the reason why we opened this yellow door here. Because right now we have 0 ammo, we don't want to rely on drop RNG, and we need to get through this door. So yeah. That's it. Alright. God dang it. So this is the best case scenario right now. Getting this first try, this is the hardest trick of the game, of the entire run. Getting that first try is a huge relief. And seeing this, we might land hugely underestimate. So yeah, I'm just like saving and resetting there gets rid of the timer because the way has no way of storing the timer. So just by saving and resetting, we delete over it. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so one thing you might be wondering about is why do we have Plasma Beam now? Because we never collected Plasma Beam. Basically, Hyper Beam, so the final beam we get during the Mother Brain fight, is nothing else than just charged wave plasma shots with a nice texture and different damage numbers. So the game basically, like even though it says in the menu Hyper Beam, the game basically treats it as having charged wave plasma equipped. So right now we do have Plasma Beam equipped because the game, like when we store the game, it checks, okay, Plasma Beam is equipped, so we're gonna have it equipped once the player reloads again. We don't actually have Plasma Beam right now, it's an artificial Plasma Beam. Once I'm gonna look into my menu, and we're gonna do that soon to re-equip Ice Beam, you're gonna see that Plasma Beam is not in there. But we still have it for the rest of the run, which is really convenient. Like, that Plasma Beam is going to help a lot. Also, I'm not sure if we ever got any donations in, but this would be the cutoff time for early Crocomire, or Grapple Beam. I don't think we got that, so I'm just going to wait for some kind of confirmation. So, I'm just going to move on with the run. I honestly kind of hope we didn't hit it, because I'm currently 3 minutes ahead of my son of best, which is pretty sick. Let's not jinx it though, there's still hard stuff coming up in this run. Yeah, I'm not joking by the way, I'm not 3 minutes ahead of my PB, I'm 3 minutes ahead of my son of best, which is interesting. How did I do that? It was met. Alright, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Alright. Cool. Okay, early Crocomire. Let's go. So, I mentioned a cool out of bounds earlier. So we're gonna do that right now. Alright, let's hold super, let's power. So, what we're doing here basically is so Crocomire is pretty late in the boss order. Crocomire is after Fantoon. So, yeah, we cannot do him right now because we have still other bosses coming up. However, there is a way to, like, get the Grapple Beam item, which is behind Crocomire, without having to kill Crocomire. That also requires some out of bounds. We're gonna see how this goes. Let's just have a look at this. This is something I never do in runs because it's so slow. But we'll see that. So the safety save is pretty important because this trick has some room for error. Alright, I definitely want an empty reserve for this. Oh yeah, here you go. You see I don't have Plasma Beam right now. I can re-equip Ice Beam. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, yeah, just look at it. You'll see. So here's Crocomire. We're now captured inside its chamber. Door is gray, we cannot get out. There's spikes to the left, can't go there either. There's Crocomire. You'll notice we start off by laying power bombs, and that is to lure him to the left of the room. Oh, this is some really good RNG. Alright. And what we want to do is we want Crocomire to push us into these spikes here. Alright. Alright, there you go. So what we did there is we did a crystal flash inside the spikes. And now we are stuck in something again, and you know what that means. We can X-ray climb. God, I hope I remember how to do this. It's not a long X-ray climb, but I'm just making sure I hit it. Alright, there you go, I'm out of bounds. So now we're gonna run to the left here until... well, I hope. Until Samus is on screen again. Alright, there we go. Now we're gonna run to the right, into an out-of-bounds transition. God. And we're back! There we go, that's Crocomire's kit. We're now in the back side of this chamber without ever killing Crocomire. And, now we can get grapple beam. I'm surprised I hit that first try. I'm really surprised. Alright, another nice moonfall here. That's not an easy thing to do, getting that crystal flash inside the spikes, because you're like permanently taking damage. And the really bad thing is it's kind of RNG too, because like the spikes deal 60 damage, but there's only a 50 health interval for the crystal flash to work. So yeah, that's how you skip Crocomire, but in case you don't know, there is only one way to get out of this area, and that is by going through Crocomire's chamber again. So the nice thing about this skip is we have to do it twice into both directions, so... yeah. We have to do yet another out of bounds. And I'm definitely gonna safety save here, because all of this out of bounds can go wrong very badly. Also, in case you like beautiful graphics, this next thing is going to be totally the thing for you. Also, yeah, this is really where Moonwalk comes in handy. Oh, there you go. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at all these door shells. Just like aligning with these door transitions is just so convenient with Moonwalk. So here we don't need a spark. We can just get stuck normally because there's no slope above us, so we just need to do an auto spin jump. Alright, let's see how this goes. So we just X-ray climb up here a little. So yeah, this is the beauty of this. Isn't this beautiful? Like, you don't see this in any other category. This game is just beautifully broken. This game is so beautiful when it comes to glitches, but most people don't ever see that. Alright, Samus should appear at the bottom of the screen very soon. There we go. So now I'm gonna walk to the right, not run, walk, and then I'm gonna align with this tile here. And now what I'm gonna do, I need to make sure, okay, so I'm gonna have Speed Booster equipped, just run to the right into a transition, then land out of bounds in this room, fall into yet another transition that I didn't hit. Alright, that's okay, we can... Alright, we are here? I'm not quite... Oh, there I am, okay. We're inside an out-of-bounds room copy again. And now, after those 2 consecutive wrong ones, we're back in bounds. And now we have Grapple Beam, and Crocomire was not harmed. So Crocomire is alive, but we got his treasure. What more could you want? There we go. I had no clue I would get this first try. I'm honestly surprised. Like you can see how this is pretty slow to do, like especially without any efficient net gain. But it's just so cool. Like, look at this wrong one. Isn't this like beautiful? Like, this is just I love this. I know a lot of people will disagree there on like major glitches, but I just love it. This is why I personally love this game. It's just seeing it completely broken to the bones. But yeah, thank you everyone who donated for this good cause for the Crocomire skip. I hope it was worth it. Thanks a lot for all the donations. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I have to farm up back again now because I still need to do more crystal flashes and I kind of wasted one on Croc Escape, but yeah. The best thing is to never fight Croc. I mean, fair. So I'm gonna do a safety save here. So yeah, even though I said that grapple doesn't really give us anything, that's not quite true. Like, in an optimal world where I do every strat perfect, it doesn't give us anything. But in fact, grapple beam is an amazing item that helps a lot for RBO. There are it allows it to efficiently farm in Lower Norfair, which otherwise would not be possible in this category. So it makes Lower Norfair and Ridley a ton easier. Suitless Meridia is way, way easier if you have Grapple Beam. There are a lot of soft blocks we can avoid just having Grapple Beam. It's like such an awesome safety item, so I'm kind of glad I have it here. I'm still gonna go for the short charge just to show it. Okay, I'm not gonna go it. So usually if you don't have Grapple Beam, you need to do a short charge here, a pretty precise one, but since we have Grapple Beam, I'm just gonna grapple across here now and save myself the torture of having to get this Shine Spark. So that's fun. Getting the Shine Spark and just grappling across here is roughly equal. You lose time because you take, you lose health because you take heat damage longer, but you also gain health because you don't have to get damaged by the spark. So yeah. I de-equip Speed Booster here because I'm coming up on the Lava Dive. And if you have Speed Booster in Lava equipped, it eats your momentum, so I couldn't go for this fancy bounce ball here. Also look at my health right now. You can see Lava is draining health pretty quickly, so I only have one shot at this, but I got it, which is nice. Yo, there he is. Beebs, how are you? No, it's alright. We started super early. It's alright. You can go back to sleep if you want to. It's really all good. I even got escape first try. There's nothing to worry about, man. I'm glad you were able to make it. Alright, so here we're gonna do another Crystal Flash. This area is super important for Crystal Flashes. There are 2 energy tanks in Low Norfair and 1 health refill, which are all super nicely aligned. Like, I cannot stretch enough how well aligned the health refills are in Low Norfair. But we still need to do 2 free Crystal Flashes. That just shows you how brutal this area is in terms of health management. Alright, this is a trick called Green Gate Glitch. I'm trying to get a Super Missile past this gate, which I got 6th try. Nice. I really want the Supers though. You can farm up basically every ammo type in Lower Norfair except for missiles efficiently. Like these Rippers have a near 100% drop chance. We're gonna come up on Fireflies later, which have a near 100% drop chance of Power Bombs, so you can get really everything except for missiles, which we get 30 off. So there are slight drops we need to rely on, but most thing is really fixed. Oh, X-Ray Climb went pretty well actually. I got like a sub 10, which I consider basically optimal. Alright, so here's Golterizo. We're not gonna do Golterizo yet because we have to do him after Ridley, but we really want his item, the Screw Attack, which is why we do the Screen Gate Glitch to get Screw Attack early. Also this nice health refill is here, which is really cool. So there's Screw Attack, really important item. Gives you complete invulnerability to everything except for Ridley's tail. And, well, everything we still need to fight except for Ridley's tail. And also deals 2000 damage per frame. So we one-shot basically every enemy that is not a boss. So yeah, now we're actually coming up on Ridley. I'm taking a lot of damage here, which is... Actually, no, I'm gonna go back. That was a horrible opening, I'm sorry. I took 2 acid baths, and acid just drains your health so quickly. I don't even know what it is. I think it's like... Is it 8 frame? I think it's like 8 energy per 4 frames or something like that. It's a lot. Like you can see, I'm already down 3 tanks and I still have quite a bit of hell run to go. Alright, have a good night, peeps. Thanks a lot for getting up that early for me. Alright, that was better. I can take one acid dip here. So I'm gonna go for a short charge here to get through pillars. Short charging during heat damage is kind of annoying because the sound of the heat damage actually can overwrite the blue frames. So there is an effect called skating that can appear, which basically gets rid of your speed booster count, so you cannot get a shine spark even with full running speed, and that's just terribly annoying. Not only because you cannot get a shine spark, but you also lose the invulnerability frames and damage off the blue suit. So it's like every time you do these, it's like kind of a risk of just randomly not getting it. Thankfully for these very short charges, that's not a problem, but for longer running distances, it definitely is. 6 per 4 frames, alright, thank you, John. So yeah, that's a lot. Again, game running on 60 FPS, you can do the math yourself how fast that drains all my health, basically. Here, really important, I don't want to take spike hits, I only want to get damaged by the fireflies here, which again have this really convenient power bomb drop chance for me to just get all the power bombs and get up nice for more crystal flashes again. But yeah, this is the last E-Sync we're gonna get for Ridley, so this is basically everything we got. In an actual Rambo setting where I wouldn't do Croc skip, I wouldn't have grapple right now. And the thing that I'm gonna do now that I wouldn't do in runs is I'm actually gonna farm before Ridley just to get to full supers. In an actual run, what I would do is I would just rush through the thing, do a little bit of farming, and then Crystal Flash right before the Ridley fight and instantly storm in with almost no supers, and just do him with charge shots. But since I have grapple, I'm gonna use that opportunity and farm up my supers, since I can do that efficiently now, and then just use supers on Ridley. The reason for that is that supers deal double damage on Ridley, so 600 per shot, whereas my charge shots only deal 900 even though I have the full beam combo. And since supers have a higher fire rate, my supers actually have the highest DPS on Ridley, even though I have the full beam combo. So that grapple beam adds a nice little safety for the Ridley fight, just because I'm gonna have a faster Ridley fight, and faster Ridley fight means less health drain from heat, which is important. I'm gonna kill these guys with Shine Sparks here. Those are semi-precise, it's not super hard to align them. If I miss it like that, it's not too bad either because I have a Plasma Beam, so I can two-shot these. And this is like really nice health and ammo right now. I can just take my time nice and cozy, farm a little bit here. Again, Screw Attack making a really nice job of killing all these enemies with a lot of health instantly. Even getting some nice missile drops, that's always nice. Again, missiles are kind of the only thing that's hard to come by, so it's nice to get just some more or less lucky drops. Like the holds have a decent chance, but there are so few of them that it's not unlikely that you land here with just 20 missiles. Also want to make sure we get all the power bombs from the Violas here. Then we're going to use one power bomb here. And again, like in the usual run scenario, I would just Crystal Flash right there and storm in. But now I can take my time with Grapple Beam here, farm efficiently, get the super, get nice into Crystal Flash range, and then farm Super Sub after the Crystal Flash, which is what we would do in standard RBO where we have Grapple Beam. So right now, again, imagine I would be right in front of Ridley's door. This would be the ammo I had to fight Ridley with, which is not a lot, so I had to rely a lot on charge shots, but now I can just farm up the supers here. This is actually a really efficient farming spot. If you're full on supers and full on missiles and you just get all these big health drops, you can actually gain life here just farming like this. That's how efficient this is. It takes a long time, but it does work. So Grapple Beam again here, big safety. Oh, this is not good. Alright. Alright, let's see how this fight goes. Shall we? We're opening up with one, I guess, charge shot here. Again, we can't, Ridley needs 30 supers, so we have to do some damage with charge shots. Not too much though. Alright. We want to keep him in this pogo pattern for as long as possible, because that's nice and cozy to maneuver. I kind of messed it up there, so I need to be pretty quick now. Hope to get him back into a pogo. Alright, this should work. Alright. Alright, there we go. As long as I jump into his claw before my reserves kick in, I'm good, because the reserves are just going to kick in when he dies, so I always have the same health here. And the health drop is just gonna spawn as I'm running on low HP. So this is absolutely perfect. So yeah, now we got the Ridley tank and we got our next boss down. It's kind of problematic that we're low ammo here, but then again, the most important thing is really that we have enough missiles to do one more Crystal Flash during the low and warfare escape. Everything else we can come by. Super's obviously here. We can farm some of the Violas for power bombs, and then we're pretty well set up. Again, really convenient that just these Violas and Fireflies have this almost 100% chance of dropping power bombs. We could even get the power bombs of Shame as another power bomb alternative for 5 extra power bombs, but that's just so. Like, there's no reason to get them at this point, really. This run just works out really well in terms of ammo. Even getting some extra drops, nice. Oh wow, alright. So again, we want to do one more Crystal Flash on our way out of Lower Norfair because there's no convenient health refill anymore. Like, if we would do the Crystal Flash here, we would already be fine. I try to go a little bit further. Like, usually if I'm in the next room and do the Crystal Flash, I'm always fine. Like, this is going to be a great great spot to Crystal Flash, honestly. Just going to do it here. Perfect, and yeah, this is great. This is a great spot. So yeah, there you go. Crystal Flash refills all our health, uses our last ammo, and then we're fine. I'm not even going to take the safety save. Like, the rest of the escape is basically free. You have a lot of health leeway here. There's not really a lot that can kill you. Especially with Screw Attack and Plasma. Like, there's really no risk of dying here. This is the easiest hell run in the entire run. Which may seem counterintuitive since it's the very last area of the game, but, you know, it's really not that hard. Yeah, my PB had actually 2 deaths on Ridley, but my PB also didn't have grapple beams, so keep that in mind. Grapple just really makes this way more free. Just having these extra supers. Like, I would have definitely not made that fight if I would have had to use all the charge shots. For that, the fight was just too sloppy. But with grapple, it's nice and cozy. So yeah, back to the boss order. We have Mother Brain and Ridley done, so that's nice. If you remember your casual playthrough, the thing you were supposed to beat before Ridley is Gold Chorizo. So after we just escaped Lower Norfair, we're gonna go right back in to do Gold Chorizo. And for that we need to do more Lava Dive, more Hell Runs, and you know what that means? We have to do more Crystal Flashes. So back to farming. This run has a lot of farming that you cannot skip. Like there's no, yeah, like you really just need to do so many Crystal Flashes. It's just like, yeah, you have to do all this. Yeah, I lost quite a bit of time to croc skip, but that's alright. This is still a great pace. Like I'm not sure if any of the organizers is watching, but like just getting Ridley and Mother Brain first try and Escape first try, I'm gonna be way ahead of estimate, just so that you know. Like, as long as I don't mess up the end game horribly, this is definitely gonna be a sub 2, just so you know. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's something that can happen if you try to boomerang. Also, hello Tracy. Good morning to all of you Americans who just woke up to this run. I really appreciate you all joining. Alright, one more safety save just to be sure in case Lava Dive goes wrong. Well, there's still some difficult parts coming up, but I don't want to jinx it just yet. But I'm just gonna say this has potential to PB. Even with the croc skip, which is pretty insane. So yeah, just gonna farm up to full supers again, because we need to do 2 more Crystal Flashes in Lower Norfair. One after the Lava Dive and one after the lava dive. This is also a great thing about this category. This category just has a lot of unique NMG plays. For example, the reverse lava dive, which you cannot see in any other category. It's just like exclusive to Rambo. I think there might be some extension. Oh no, never mind. Sorry, there's all mini boss order. No, all mini boss RTA, which also has the reverse lava dive. Unless you do the gravity route, which is a different problem, but we're not going to talk about that. So yeah, again, I'm going to de-equip Speed Booster here just to make the lava dive easier for me, because I really want to get the bounce ball set up. Nice accidental X-ray. Oh yeah, and that's something I do in runs a lot, is just laying a power bomb there out of muscle memory, even though I already opened that door. Oh, this is alright. Barrier route is the best route, indeed. Nah, I'm not even gonna bother with the short charge. I'm just gonna not do it and just save time over my PB. I mean, if I have grapple, I might as well use it. Alright, here's the next crystal flash we need to do. Alright, second try, not bad. Not terrible either. Why didn't I get Various Suit? That is a good question. Well, because I cannot get Various Suit. I won't take heat damage with it, that is true. Alright, here's our buddy, Colterizo. Say hi to Midwest Speedfest. So we're gonna just trap him in his corner. Shoot some charge shots at him. Have some fun, you know, what you do. This is also really nice, you can really farm the drops here pretty efficiently. And he's dead. Nice and easy. Just gonna... I'm not even sure if I should bother with the super pack. I will, why not? Could have probably skipped that. Alright, Golterizo is dead, and we are actually done with Norfair. Just gonna need to lava dive out, and then we're good. We have all the heated action done, all the Norfair bosses are... Oh wait, no, sorry, never mind. We still have Croc. Right, there's Crocomire way later, so we're gonna be back here. But yeah, with lower Norfair, we're done for now, for this run. Nothing more of interest, no more items, no more bosses. So, we're coming to really the last quote-unquote interesting part of the run, as in the last thing that deviates from RBO in a major way. So the next thing in the boss order is Dragon. And you may know that you kinda have to beat Mawtoon before doing Dragon. So the question is, like, all doors that lead to Dragon either lead, they are either gray, or they lead through Mawtoon. So you might be wondering, okay, how are we gonna do Dragon next? Well, in case you didn't pay attention yet, we have the power of out of bounds in this run, and the power of wrong warps. So yeah, we're gonna break this game out of existence again, and do another wrong warp to get to Dragon before we do Mawtoon. So yeah, that's reverse lava dive, way easier than normal lava dive. Actually, I think with Grapple it would be faster to go for the Acid Snake Ring. So yeah, this is the last Crystal Flash we have to do in Norfair. Fun fact, you can kill these guys with power bombs. You can also kill them with supers, but it's like... I feel like that's something rarely anyone knows, because like you never need to kill these. But yeah, you can kill them. Alright. I'm not gonna lie, the out of bounds that we use to skip Bottoon is probably the most complicated out of bounds. Like, I mean, the G4 out of bounds is pretty long. The escape is basically free once you hit the out of bounds part. I guess Croc skip is slightly more complicated since you have the consecutive wrong warps, but I'm not counting that one since it's not in the standard route. But Bottoon's wrong warp is pretty complicated. I'm currently working on replacing that one actually with a way easier one. But my research for that is not quite done yet, and there are some problems that I still need to fix. But either way, I think you'll like this because this has a pretty cool setup, even with the more complicated, more risky one. So it's important that I take this safe here. And one thing you might be wondering is why don't I just take this safety safe at Frog Speedway, since that was just on the way and way closer to Meridia. The reason for that is that we need to visit the pre-Crocomire room. Just like, again, a small idea on how out of bounds works, it's like basically out of bounds and like the transition blocks and all the trash that exists out of bounds sets itself up by just like, basically when you leave the borders of the room, the game is trying to somehow figure out what is where you are. And since there isn't a room data for that, the game tries to load RAM that is not supposed to load. So it's loading like basically leftover RAM from the gameplay before. So by visiting huge rooms like the pre-Crocomire room, which is just really big, we basically stack the RAM with data that is beneficial for us, and that is going to form the leftover RAM that's going to form the out of bounds for the upcoming wrong warp, and that leftover RAM is going to form a transition block that allows us to wrong warp post Bottoon. It sounds all terribly complicated, but it's really easy. You just basically visit that room and then you do the wrong warp. It's also convenient that there's this save right before that room, so that if we mess it up, we can just try again. Also, one thing you notice, I wasted a lot of time in that one hell run. The reason for that is I want exactly around 100 health. The reason for that is, if you do a Shine Spark and you hit I think 23 HP, the Shine Spark interrupts. So what we're gonna do here after we climb out of bounds, did I de-equip Morph Ball? I did, okay. After we climb out of bounds, we're gonna do some out of bounds bomb jumping onto an out of bounds platform. And on this out of bounds platform, we're gonna do a Shine Spark. And if we would just let that Shine Spark run out with full health, we would crash into a wrong transition. So what we want is we want that Shine Spark to be interrupted mid-air just by hitting critical health. And then we are perfectly set up for landing inside the transition block that we actually want to land in. So now I'm just going to do this quick bomb jump here. One screen, not a lot. So I want to make sure to not unmorph too early here, because there's a crash block that I could just run into. So now, we're going to do a short charge, a line here, spark up, Shine Spark is going to interrupt mid-air, we're going to tap right, and we're going to land in that out-of-bounds transition block, and we're in Cactac Alley, which is past Bottoon, and that is Bottoon skip. And this is honestly the part where I think grapple is the most important part, because we have a mini Suitless Meridia coming up, and if you don't have grapple beam, you can soft block very badly in that Suitless Meridia section, which I'm gonna show you where the soft block could happen just so that you can see it. And that just adds so much extra safety. Another thing is that we can use grapple very well for the boss coming up. To make the escape quicker. It's like, just grapple in this area is such a nice safety. So, like, if you would start out with this run, even though you would have to learn one extra out of bounds to get grapple beam, I would still recommend it, just because it makes the run so much easier. Also, the nice thing about this wrong warp is it doesn't mess up the graphics for some reason. I'm still not quite sure why, but that's just how it is. I'm pretty sure because there's no, like, I don't even know. I'm not going to pretend like I know why it does that. I have kind of an issue with only having 11 power bombs here. I kind of want a few more, just to be safe. Alright, yeah. Because I need to do one more Crystal Flash, and when that Crystal Flash goes off is RNG, so I theoretically need multiple attempts of the Crystal Flash. But I could even play it like super safe and get it in first try guaranteed, but I'd like to avoid that. So this is Coliseum. This is the one room where Grapple Beam is really important, because if you don't have Grapple Beam, you cannot just climb up here like I would right now. But what you have to do is do this here, climb on top of the Machtroids and wall jump up. And the thing is, if those Machtroids are off screen, they won't move anymore. And if you kill them, they are dead, and you have Screw Attack right now, and yeah, you just soft lock down there. But since we have Grapple Beam, and I didn't even need it right now, but since we have Grapple Beam, this just makes this so much safer, because you don't have one soft lock here, and you just don't have to do everything over again, which loses you multiple minutes. So I'm gonna do a quick setup for the next Crystal Flash. Gonna get a little bit low on health here. And then we come up on Dragon. Gonna destroy the turrets here really quick so that they don't get in our way. And get in Crystal Flash range. Again here, Grapple, big help. If we wouldn't have Grapple here, we would get way lower in health before even entering this chamber. Alright, so now we're at crit health, we can Crystal Flash. Well, not crit health, but we are in Crystal Flash range. We're gonna do a Crystal Flash as Dragon groups and grabs us. What that's gonna do is it's gonna... Oh, perfect, first try. It's gonna give us a Spark Suit, which is basically just a stored Shine Spark. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna exchange that Spark Suit into a Blue Suit by getting grabbed yet again by Dragon as the wind-up animation of the Spark happens. And the big difference between Blue Suit and Spark Suit for this purpose is that we can do this. We can do a grapple, X-ray kill on Dragon. If we would just have Spark Suit, it would delete the Spark Suit, so we would lose the Spark. But with Blue Suit, we can actually do this. There are other benefits of Blue Suit over Spark Suit, which are only really there if you have Grapple Beam, which I do. But that's the really important one, being able to quickly kill Dragon like that. So this is a really, really technical section. There's a lot of stuff going on at the same time. It's not really horribly complicated. Alright, so what you would usually do in Rambo is you would just spark up this room and then X-ray climb out. But since we have Grapple, we can do a faster alternative of just Grapple jumping out of here, which I got first try, very nice. And then use the Spark to get out of this room, which is, I think, about like 30 seconds faster, so a nice little time save just from having Grapple here. So this is like the standard RBO strat, not the Rambo strat. But again, we're using Grapple here, which we usually don't have. And this is really the last interesting part of the run. This is at least the last Rambo-specific part. The rest is like really just NMG, killing off the last bosses. We don't need to do any more wrong warps. We're basically done. We have one more really cool Rambo-specific thing that is coming up right now, which is Bottoon. So obviously Bottoon is next in the boss order, and since we never went into Bottoon's room, we're just gonna enter it from behind. And, well, we're basically gonna do a literal microwave kill. Bottoon is gonna sit there in his little box. We're gonna send a nice little plasma shot in there and microwave him with X-ray. And this kill is actually unique to Rambo. There's no other category that has that. And I want to say it's the coolest Bottoon kill of any category. Others may disagree, but I find it hard to imagine that there's a better one than this. So just like, look at this. So like, there's Bottoon in this little box. Gonna send a nice plasma shot in there. And the microwave action goes on, and the snake is grilled, and bing! Door goes open, and we can get our grilled bottom. Also, reverse ice clip here. You usually only do this in the other direction, but it works in both ways. Basically, you just pixel perfectly align this Metroid, which conveniently enough is achieved by just crouching and shooting up, so no frame perfect dumb stuff. Alright, and next up is Splatoon, and we're actually gonna save a lot of time. Sorry, on Fantoon, we're actually gonna save a lot of time just by having grapple here. Because we can take the top route out. Otherwise we had to go for the bottom and kind of loop around Red Tower. Which we can avoid since we have grapple beam, we can just, like, get out of here this way. Yeah, this game is completely broken. This game is probably about one of the most broken games. I mean, any game where arbitrary code execution is figured out, which it is for this game, it's just like, yeah. But like, even for a human, this game is just completely insanely broken. Like, we can do about everything with this game that we want. Also, fun fact, that red fish that I just froze there was a fish that actually I have the custody over together with my boy Sephi. Shoutouts to him. There was a long debate on who owns this fish, either Sephi or me. We had an entire rando tournament race about it, and eventually settled that we both own it. The current agreement is that when the fish faces left, it's his fish. When it faces right, it's mine. So that's the Ponk Sephi fish right there. Oh dang. Feels Batman, Beefy. Feels Batman. By the way, big shoutouts to Beef Robber at this point. Not only a good friend, but also an amazing tasser. Made a RBMBO task that became a little bit of a meme, but was a great task, and he's actually currently working on remaking that task. So if you find this category interesting, just from like seeing a human play it, you will love seeing the task of it. It's absolutely fantastic. So keep an eye out for that. So yeah, we just microwave Batoon, sorry, Fantoon, just like we would microwave Batoon. Yeah, the task forgot one boss, but it was still amazing, man. It was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, again, he's even working on new tasks right now as we speak, so just keep an eye out from that. Yeah, it is an amazing. The really cool thing is that we can call that meme the Croc skip, since he skipped Croc in the task. But we also do a trick in this run that is called Croc skip, where we skip Croc. So it's just the meme is just absolutely perfect, honestly. Oh god. So yeah, next up in the boss order is Crocomire, and then we only have Crate and Spore Spawn left, and then we're done. Again, a lot of NMG stuff here, really. The interesting part are really like the first 5 to 6 bosses. The beefy route, yeah, that sounds fun. Man, I can't believe this run. So I've said it before, and at this point there's no way I could jinx it anymore because we're just way too far in. My current PB is a 147, which we're currently way ahead of, so even though I had to do the croc skip, this is going to be world record by quite a bit. So yeah, that's actually pretty hype. Yeah, that moonfall is really sick with screw attack, I agree. Don't be too hyped yet. We still have 3 bosses coming. Oh yeah, I mean that's 6 more minutes. Yeah, no, this should be good. I'm not even sure. Can anyone tell me like what my actual PB is? It's like a 147 something. Don't ask me for the exact number. So this is Crocomire. After we skipped him earlier, we're finally gonna kill him. I'm sorry, Croc. But we're gonna do him one more favor and dance the moonwalk with him. Croc loves the moonwalk. Just the important part about this is not only moonwalking, but you gotta do the claw move. If you don't do the claw move, you do it incorrectly. Gotta be in perfect sync. There we go. Bye, Croc. We'll miss you. I would not... No, I would definitely not put it back into my normal route. Just because I don't expect to get it first try every run. And it still overall costs more time than it gains. But for anyone who would be starting out this category, I would 100% definitely tell him to get Grapple Beam, or her to get Grapple Beam. Just the amount of safety and the amount of strats that are easier by having Grapple Beam is just definitely worth it. And I'm planning to make a tutorial for this category since, like, I guess no one else would do it, and I really want more people to run this. And that is definitely going to include Croc Skip, just because it adds so much safety. Like, you could see this run, just all the extra safety things I could do just by having Grapple. Again, thanks a lot for donating for that. No, that's not my PB. That's the PB before that. That's the PB before my current PB. I don't think I have it highlighted right now. That's the issue. I still need to I mean, I guess at this point I don't need to anymore. But still. Beginner round, watch my PB. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I haven't updated it, I know. I'm a bad person for not updating my PBs. By the way, organizers, I'm gonna finish within the next 5 minutes, so I know I'm way underestimate, I'm sorry for that, but I just had to put a higher estimate for this run. So you may want to get the next run already, or informed at least. Yeah, I'm sorry, I know, I feel terrible about it, but like I had so much stuff to do. Like, I have tournament matches everywhere, I have, like, practice to do, I literally didn't get around to do it. I didn't even get to like, it's not even not me highlighting it, not uploading it, I just didn't even highlight it. Like, if I would have forgotten about that, it might have been just lost. 147.33 is my PB, alright, yeah, thank you. Ah, that might be close. Not quite sure if we get it. It's gonna be really close. So yeah, final boss of the boss order, Spore Spawn. Gonna be a fun time. I mean, you don't go into a marathon run, especially with a category like this where everything can go wrong, and expect to get like world record days. I'm honestly really thankful that you even got this run in. I know it's like, this is like probably the most marathon unfriendly run of this entire game. It's like really cool, I got to show it off, and even succeeded relatively well. Also, I need a decision on save and kill the animals, like, basically within the next minute. Alright, final boss, Spore Spawn, and he's dead. And we're done with all the bosses. So now, just onto the escape. This time for real. In favor of kill, dang. Shield's bad, man. When was the last time I killed the animals? I want to say 2016? Well, early 2017 might have been. Alright. Oh, thank God this is not going to world record. I might have been in quite a bit of trouble if I would have gotten a world record without saving the animals. Alright, well thank you everyone for donating for the run. You are gonna see me do something that I haven't done in years, which is killing the animals. Don't clip that, please. That might just ruin my reputation forever. But yeah, since it's for charity, just for you, I am gonna do it. I'm not gonna feel great about it, but I'm gonna do it. Charity is, I guess, worth an exception. Alright, so I told you before, we saved over the timer, but conveniently enough, it stores the escape flag. So the planet has been exploding basically this entire time as we have been playing, so we can just leave, and that's time. I said time, thank you. Alright. So there you go, that is Rambo in 1:48.11. That is the fastest second time anyone has ever done this category. About 40 seconds behind world record, so that's really good considering it's a marathon run and I had to do croc skip. So yeah, that's pretty fun. $1:10.07. Oh, was there a timer thing? All right. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching a lot. Thank you a lot for the donations. Again, getting the croc skip going. I was glad I was able to show that off. Thanks a lot for donating for Safer's Kill the Animals. And yeah, big shoutouts to all the guys from the Super Metroid speedrunning community. Especially Beef Robber, Beeps, my personal Rambo pioneers. And yeah, I think I'm not sure if you guys want to cut it early, otherwise I would just leave it up till the Dia-Force. Leaving up our good Super Metroid tradition. Yeah, again, big shoutouts to Midwest Speedfest for even allowing Rambo in a marathon. Like, this run can go horribly wrong in so many different ways, but like, being able to show this off, I'm really happy. Thank you so much for taking it, and big shout out to you guys over there, allowing me to run this. I'm glad everyone stuck around. Also shout outs to my American friends getting up this early just to watch the run, or staying up this late. And yeah, thanks a lot for that. I for myself am gonna get breakfast now because I'm in Germany and it's definitely breakfast time. So yeah, I'm not sure who's coming up next. Good luck to that guy. I hope his run will go as well as mine. Yeah. Yeah, you guys can go to bed now. So, have a good night, everyone. One more thing, if you want to learn this category, don't hesitate to shoot me a PM on Discord or whatever. We actually have a leaderboard since recently for this kind of category, for all kinds of meme stuff that is not really appreciated in the main board. You find it if you search on SRC for the Super Metroid category extensions. Another thing you'll find there is a link to our Discord, the Super Metroid category extension Discord, where you find a lot about meme categories like this. And otherwise, just check out the Super Metroid community. It's a pretty cool place, lots of cool people. And there we go. Dio Force. Thank you for the link, Shala. Alright, with that I'm off, and see you all later. Enjoy the marathon.